Apple has announced that their iPhone will now have digital ID. What does this mean? The Apple iPhone digital ID is just going to be a digital representation of your US passport. Let me take you through it. So with Apple's iPhone, you would essentially load on your US passport into the Wallet app, and it'll also be accessible on your Apple Watch. This basically allows US passport holders to create digital identity credential based on your passport information. So this is a digital identity credential. It's not yet going to be connected to all that you are, all the info data, your history, your financial transactions yet. This is just a digital credential based on your passport info. But again, it's another major step towards the coming control grid. When users actually do this, iPhone users do this, step one is you're going to scan your passport photo page, and that's also going to read the embedded microchip in your passport. If you didn't know already, there's an embedded microchip in every US passport. The second step is it'll give you a facial scan. So your biometric authentication. It's going to scan your face from different angles. It's going to require you to do different head movements. This is the step of collecting biometric data, giving it to a private company like Apple. Users then can present their digital ID at in-person checkpoints. For example, over 250 US airports. Right now, it's only for domestic travel, not international. If you do international, you are required to have your physical passport in hand. So the digital ID on the Apple iPhone, they say it's encrypted and it's just stored on your device. Apple says that they cannot see when or where your ID is being used. Again, that's their claim, but how often do we trust what tech companies tell us about our data and how they protect it or what they can see or not see? This all plays in, again, to Agenda 2030, the digital legal identity. So they are trying to go for identities that are managed, verified, used digitally for access to our own rights and services. Okay, this goes back to what I said. If you step out of line with anything that the current regime in power or the global regime says is out of line, they can shut you down for access to bank accounts, to food, things like that. That's where we're going. This Apple Digital ID is a major step to eventually fully replace physical IDs with digital. It's going to normalize this digital ID for so many normies who are just going to sign up and do it, right? It's so much easier. Just put your identification onto your phone. So right now, Apple's digital ID remains privatized. It's device specific. It has limited scope for implementation. But again, this aligns in spirit with the broader Agenda 2030 digital ID control grid. These are incremental steps. They're not just going to put the cage around you right away. It's going to be little incremental steps. Get you used to little things piece by piece. And as you take those little baby steps, you get used to the cage being put around you. One more big step towards full-scale digital ID, where all the individual's life history, info, data, their financial records, everything is all connected. It's not there yet, but again, this is another step towards that. These are the questions this raises. Will digital-only IDs become standard and people required to use them? We've seen this. This is what happens, right? We normalize something, it becomes a standard, and then all of a sudden it's forced upon us to that's the only way to do it from now on. Who controls the ecosystem and the infrastructure of this? Right now, it's a private corporation, Apple. But government has talked about doing this. And of course, we have the ever-present evil public-private partnership where the public entity, the government, gives permission to a private corporation to store all your data and manage all of this through government contracts, which is most likely what is going to happen. The government will partner with these big entities like Google, Apple, Palantir, you name it, these big AI companies to manage all of our data, connect all the railways together of the infrastructure that's being laid so that your one big massive digital ID, the culmination of one of the pieces of Agenda 2030, is all connected down with your past, your history, your financial records, your schooling records, your health records, everything. Go take a look at some of my other digital ID videos for information about this. The last question, of course, is what legal safeguards will there be to protect against misuse, data breaches, tracking, exclusion, or blocking from services? These kind of issues will come up before there's any kind of legal framework in place. And that's what's happening. This technology is moving so fast. They're pushing these incremental steps so fast that it won't give our legislative process time to catch up for actual legislation that might protect each individual. This is the way that government will actually circumvent the law in order to control us through private corporations and our access to public services and private services. I would say the Apple Digital ID is a digital representation of a state or government issued identification. It's not yet connected fully to the full infrastructure and all the rail lines that they're putting together through these AI databases. So they can't quite shut you out of certain services if you did the digital ID on Apple, but it is coming. Again, major step towards that process as we take these little steps towards this dystopian, totalitarian future.
Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that teach well, and peace and salutations to the elect of the true nation of Israel, Yasharallah. Yeah, man, I'm a little bit late, to doing this video. But yeah, Apple is rolling out their new Apple digital ID, man. Which is who else did the digital ID already? The UK, the United Kingdom, the Brits. Okay, they made it mandatory for their people, all right, civilians to have one. United States, they're not there yet, but Apple, Apple's a big company in America, okay, and they're rolling out their Apple digital ID, and everybody has an Apple. I have an iPhone, man. I've been so used to iPhone since I was a young teenager, man. I can't get used to Android. I wish I could get used to Android. I might be pushed to eventually get an Android, but eventually every piece of technology is going to be required for you to get a digital ID. Android, Apple or not, Apple's just a big, everybody, almost not everybody, but Apple. A lot of people have Apple iPhones, Apple devices. It's made so easy for people to use Apple iPhones, man. It's so easy for somebody to use one, and to get one. It's like the Walmart or the Amazon of phones. All right, it's so easy and accessible to use. But Androids, the thing is with Android phones and devices, they're more customizable. You could do more things with them, and they're actually more safer to use now. Back then, it used to be Apple iPhones used to be way more safer and protective of the user, to use. There's a lot of safety guards and whatnot set in place inside the phone where you could use, where people can't hack your phone and whatnot. But now it's the opposite. You could customize an Android so much where it's safe. It's very safe for people to not hack you and steal your identity and your money and whatnot. And now iPhone, it's easy for people, for an iPhone to be hacked and whatnot nowadays. I don't know how the specifics, but I've seen some YouTube videos. I watched this Elamite guy called Ordinary Gamers. All right, his YouTube channel, and he goes into how iPhone has fell, from what iPhone used to be, and iPhones are basically trash now, man. But still, at the same time, everybody's been so conditioned and used to using iPhones, where almost like a big percentage of people, there's more Apple iPhone users in America than Android users. All right, so this being pushed, this new Apple digital ID being rolled out is a big thing in America, man. All right, because some people are just like they're not gonna leave Apple, the iPhones, and go to Android. Most people just they don't give a damn about this digital ID. They'll take it. Not take it, but they'll be all in on it. They don't care, if it leads up to the MOTB Revelation 13 and 16, because this is exactly what it is, man. All right, the digital ID is not the mark of the BEAST. All right, but it's a big step closer to it. Okay, and you heard that Edomite. If he is an Edomite, he might be a Jake. Talk about how they're doing baby steps, gradualism. All right, for lack of better words, they're doing gradualism. Okay. When it comes to the digital ID and getting to the mark of the BEAST, okay? All right, this devil, the so-called white man, uses gradualism, okay? Instead of just, hey, start rolling out the mark of the beast, no, he's going to use gradualism, implementing technology and ways of living, all right, that inch closer and closer and closer to eventually everybody accepting the MOTB, the Revelation 13 and 16, the mark of the BEAST, okay? All right, and he's doing that by, first off, he was making everything digital, a digital society, and then bang, everybody has to use a debit card, all right? No more cash, all right? Companies don't like, you don't receive paper checks no more. Now you have to set up a bank account and get direct deposit, and now swipe and pay, tap and pay, Apple Pay, which I use Apple Pay a lot, man. I'm starting to get really really used to it, but hey, people barely use cash anymore. Cash is not king no more, okay? All right, and now this, all right, a digital ID where you have to, scan your face, your thumb, put your information in, and have an ID on, basically exactly what it says, a digital ID, and not just a physical one, because everybody has a physical ID, but now you're gonna have to have a digital ID, okay, where all your records and everything about you is stored, okay, in the cloud, in cyberspace, okay, all right, instead of having it physical, and it's basically one step closer to the Revelation 13 and 16, all right, where the little device that's the size of a grain of rice that will be made mandatory to be injected into you by a syringe needle, all right, that's going to be made mandatory, and that's going to have all your information on it, okay, and everything, man, all right, we're getting one step closer to that, man. And the digital ID is basically, we're right there, man. We're there. We're basically there, Akim. They already have this, man. All right. Can't spell shit. All right. This technology, this is the MOTB, the Revelation 13 and 16, the mark of the BEAST that the Bible speaks of, which shall be made mandatory for everybody in the world to take this. And if you don't take it, there's going to be consequences. If you do take it, there's also going to be consequences by the Lord. All right. So you're going to take if you take this, if you don't take this, there's going to be consequences by man. Okay. Man is going to, try to do something to you, But if you do take this, there's going to be consequences by the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, okay? And you don't want that, man, if you do take this, all right? All right? So, hey, that decision, the hour of temptation is going to come, and that's exactly what this is, man. The hour of temptation, man. But the digital ID is very similar to this, all right? Because this is going to be made mandatory for people to put inside of them, and this is going to have your information, your data, your records, your jobs, your money, all right? Everything about you is going to be inside of this little device, okay? And it's going to be mandatory to put inside of you, all right? And look how far they've came, man. Look how long it used to be, all right? And now we're here, and we're probably even smaller than that by now, man, okay? The device is probably not even a size of a grain of rice no more, man. It's probably smaller, okay? Because in the scriptures, it doesn't tell you how small it's going to be. It doesn't say grain of rice, but now, well, I don't know, hey, now it's probably smaller, but, brothers and, in this truth have been saying the size of a grain of rice, because it has been, it's the size of a grain of rice, but, hey, now the technology is probably even more refined in where this thing is probably smaller, even like half the size of a grain of rice. See? Grain of rice. All right, it's probably smaller than one now, man. So it's probably, when they do inject this and, put this inside of people. It's probably going to be really simple and very discreet and not even hurtful, painful at all, man. It's going to be like the needle's going to probably be pretty thin, you know. All right. But what precepts did I want to get? Let me think. Device of the, I don't know how to spell it. The instruments also of the churl are evil. All right, the churl, symbolizes Esau, Edom. All right, because I believe the word churl goes back to not savage, but it means like a low life. Okay, and Esau, Edom is a low life, the so-called white man. All right, the man that has created the RFID chip device technology. Okay, are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. All right, and this devil, the so-called white man, Bill Gates and all these rich technocrats and whatnot, they're going to say, oh, this is for your benefit, this and that, it's good, it's going to make your life so much better, more convenient, you're going to have so many opportunities, there's going to be benefits with it, we're going to load it with thousands of dollars if you do take it, your work life is going to be easier, your sex life is going to be easier, your life in general is going to be easier and better, you're going to get superpowers and whatnot. Like the scriptures say, it says, this devil's going to bring a lot of miracles, with this device. All right. People are able to play video games. All right. Through technology, through this type of technology, they're, without even touching the controller, just with their mind. All right. Neuralink. All right. Which is the same thing. All right. The scriptures say in their right hand or in their forehead. And that's the Neuralink side of the mark of the BAST. Okay. Where they're gonna, hook you up through your brain. They're gonna put it in your brain. All right. In your brain. What else? People are able to walk. People that weren't able to walk, now they're able to walk. People are able to see. People, a lot of miracles are being done because of this. All right. That's how you know this is the mark of the BAST. And he's using lying words. All right. He's going to deceive. All right. It says wicked devices. All right. To destroy the poor with lying words. Okay. All right. So, yeah, man. This is one step closer. All right. You're going to say that the digital ID, there's going to be so many benefits. And there are, and our people are going to be all in on it. Most of our people, are going to be in on it, and take it willingly and be ignorant and not even realize that this is getting closer to the mark of the BEAST, man. Revelation 13 and 16. Okay, because our people are ignorant, man. And hey, there's going to be a handful of jakes who are going to be very skeptical and whatnot. Oh, that's the mark of the beast. Don't do the digital ID when it's really not the mark of the beast. It's just one step closer to it, man. All right. And when the mark of the beast is rolled out to be made mandatory, those same people they're gonna take it, man. Who are all cahoots about not taking it. I will never take the mark of the beast, no matter what, man. No matter what. We get jakes that walk by us out there on camp, at camp, or in person and whatnot, and the topic of the mark of the beast comes up, and they're all like, "Hell no, man! I ain't gonna take that, man." Yeah, you right, man. You brothers are right. When that comes, I ain't gonna take it, no matter what. And then bang, what's gonna happen when there's no food? You're starving. Okay. You're shoved in a FEMA concentration camp, and you're stuck there. All right. Your life is going to be on the line. Your children's life is going to be on the line. Your loved ones, family's life are going to be on the line if you take it or not. What are you going to do then, man? You're going to be given the opportunity to be put back into society and have a better life in society. And they're going to load up that mark of the beast with a whole bunch of money on it if you do take it. All right, thousands of dollars. All right, they're going to give you a car and whatnot. I don't know. I'll give you a good paying job, a better life, or they're going to put a gun against your head, you're going to be faced with starvation, what then? Are you going to take it or not? And a lot of these people that say that they're not going to take it, they will take it because they're going to be faced with that, the hour of temptation. The Lord's going to tempt you to take it, okay? All right, let's get that. Revelation 3:10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Okay, what's the hour of temptation, man? When the mark, let me get it. When this is made mandatory for everybody to take, okay? I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, all right, which shall come upon all the world, all right, upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And the Lord's trying our people, man. He's going to try our people, all right? He's going to, they're going to be put in a situation of life and death, all right? If you take this, you'll live. You'll go back to normal. Life will go back to normal. If you don't take it, you're going to die. Somehow you're going to suffer, starve, put in a concentration camp, What then? Are you going to take it or not? The Lord says don't take it, All right. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Our people are going to lose patience in that day, man. All right. They're going to take it. They're going to stop trusting in the Lord because they're going to see that their life is gone to shit. Life sucks. All right. Trusting in God, this ain't working for me. So I'm going to just take it, man. I'm going to take the mark of the beast. Fucking, they're not even calling it the mark of the beast. And it's actually going in my left hand. They said I could put it in my left hand. Or I might just take it and then take it out. Hey, that ain't going to work, man. The Lord's going to destroy you with nuclear fire. All right. Everybody who takes this, that will take this, all right, will be destroyed by nuclear destruction. 200 million nuclear missiles shot on top of your head. And you're going to be a part of that lake of fire, which is America being destroyed by 200 million nuclear missiles, man. That's the lake of fire, man. All right. Okay. That's what's going to happen to you if you take this, man. All right. If you keep the word of the Lord's patience, all right. And the men of Yahweh Shemel Shai, we're doing that, man. We're keeping the word of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay. Therefore, the Lord's going to give us patience. We're going to keep our patience in the hour of temptation, man. Because we've been doing the work of Yahweh Shemel Shai, man. We're diving in the word of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay. We're keeping his word. All right. We're doing what he commands us to do. Okay. You people are not. You say that, you're not going to take the mark of the beast. You believe in God, but you really don't. Look at your actions. You're not out there prophesying. All right. You're not keeping the Lord's commandments. You're not fearing the Lord. All right. Okay. You don't call on the Lord's true name. Okay. You're not showing love, true love. Okay. You don't even know what love is. You don't even know what sin is. Okay. All right. Which is the transgression of the law. Okay. You're not keeping the Lord's customs. Okay. To the best of your ability. You're not trusting in the Lord, man. You're not staying upon your watch. All right. And that's what we're doing. We're staying upon our watch. All right. We're seeing these things coming. These people are the people of this world that they're not watching. All right. They're going to be caught up in this gradualism and bang. They're going to be like a frog who was put in a pot of water, and the heat was gradually turned up, and the frog didn't even notice that it was cooked to death, man. Okay. And that's what's going to happen to you people, man. All right. Because this devil, the so-called white man, he's not going to just straight up make this mandatory out of nowhere. One day, bang, mandatory. All right. It's going to be gradual baby steps until most people are acceptive of taking this, if that's a word, man. People, it's going to get to the point where people are going to be like, yeah, man, we need this. We need this, We're going to need this, man. Look at the world, man. This is the solution. And those prophets out there, those black and Latinos and Native American dudes wearing dresses, yelling at people on the streets, they're the problem. We need to get them off the streets because they oppose of this. That's what society's going to go to, man. Okay? All right? God damn, that's small. But yeah, hope this was edifying to the elect. I didn't get the Revelation 13 and 16. Brothers will get that, But yeah, I just got, what the Spirit told me to get, concerning the scriptures, precepts. Hope this was edifying to the elect. Shalom.